Hi, and welcome to This Week in Data, your guide to the modern data culture, brought to you by Pragmatic Works. My name is Devin Knight.
And I'm Adam Jorgensen. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about how to get started with Microsoft Azure and how to start moving your business into the cloud.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
So a lot of people are, they know they need to be in the cloud. They know they should be leveraging the cloud.
Right.
They're either got a strategy, they haven't moved it. We're going to talk about how to get that going. So, but before we do that, we have some news.
I love news. I love news.
So, did you watch Star Trek? Were you a Star Trek guy?
I watched Star Trek Generations. I really liked the Captain Picard ones. Yeah.
Not Deep Space Nine, though.
Not a huge Deep Space Nine.
Okay, all right. Yeah. That's good. That's good. I don't think anybody liked Deep Space Nine. We're going to get a million comments.
Right, yeah. Way to go.
Deep Space Nine.
Firefly, anybody?
Yes. So, the holodeck, I always thought that was very cool.
Yeah.
Right? Microsoft has one, Devin.
What?
They have a holodeck.
Where? How do I get there?
It's in Redmond. We're going to be out there pretty soon.
Yes.
We need to find out what building that's in and break in and go be in the holodeck.
I'm pretty psyched about that.
Yes.
Well,
so you know about HoloLens?
Yes.
Microsoft's virtual reality product.
Right.
Well, they are working on a prototype holodeck, and they have it working, where you don't need a headset. So you are in the holodeck. And they said the resolution isn't amazing yet, and there's still obviously some things they're working on.
Yeah.
But they said they feel like it's a pretty good prototype, and they're working on making virtual reality basically headsetless, right? Because you can't walk around day to day with a HoloLens headset on.
Right.
And so they're working on, making things more efficient, smaller, more integrated with your life. I think that's pretty cool.
That's awesome. We're getting so much closer to that Minority Report kind of look and feel to it. I can't wait to see some of this stuff get to a point where it's actually released. And I'm afraid, you mentioned the resolution's not that great, so I'm wondering if it's like, we've talked about Minecraft a couple times. I wonder if it's like Minecraft where there's boxes and box people.
You know what it looks like? It looks like the difference between 1980s TV. I saw a screenshot, kind of a picture, and it looked like the difference between 1980s TV and a 4K TV. So your normal resolution would be like a 4K high def. The other one would be, the Golden Girls, right?
Okay.
Don't laugh. The Golden Girls are amazing.
They are good.
Don't mess with that. Good. So Microsoft has a holodeck. Amazon, not to be undone, has an entirely new music service.
Oh, that's different, but not the same.
It is different, but it's a whole other way for them to make money, and I don't know how Microsoft is going to make money with their holodeck yet. So I think Amazon said, we'll sell something people are going to buy today.
Yeah.
Microsoft is researching for some big things for the future, right? So it's just interesting to see what they're doing, but they launched their new unlimited music service because the world needed another music service.
Yeah, do you use one? I use Spotify personally.
I use Spotify.
Okay.
I know people who use Apple Music. I know people who like Pandora. I don't like those people. No, I'm kidding. But there's features, I think, in Spotify. That's why we usually use it. The integration, I think, is great.
Yeah.
But Amazon Music, I'm a huge fan of the Amazon Echo. We have that at home.
Yeah.
And so I may be switching. I mean, Spotify integrates with the Echo, and I really like that. But if they have added features to their music program that lets me use the Echo, I
might
switch.
Like you said, you can use Spotify now through Echo, but from what you told me, this sounds like it's going to be cheaper too than Spotify is.
It is cheaper. So Echo users would be about $4 a month, is what they're saying. That's pretty cheap.
Yeah.
You remember buying CDs?
Yes.
Like $18.99.
What was your
for 10 songs?
What was your first CD? Do you remember?
My first CD.
While you're thinking of yours, can I tell you my embarrassing one?
Yes, please.
Ace of Base.
Okay.
The one that was I Saw the Sign.
Yes.
That was my very first CD.
I had that. I will top your Ace of Base with a crisscross.
Oh, nice. Yes. We've been practicing that. We just did fist bump, by the way, if you're just listening.
Yes.
And we've been practicing that, and that was just as bad as all the other ones that we've done.
We get a lot better in practice.
We do, yeah.
Game day, it's not good. But I think it's a cool thing from Amazon because it shows their strategy, right? Yeah. They want an Echo in every house. And, this is not a new strategy, right? Somebody else did this strategy already. It was Microsoft. And they put a PC in every home, on every desk. And then they sold the you-know-what out of everything that goes on that PC for a lot of years, right? That was Bill Gates' strategy when he came out. Everybody was like, oh, everybody's not going to have a PC. And people have told Amazon, everybody's not going to have an Echo. I love my Echo. I just got new light bulbs, and I can shut off my whole house by saying, Alexa, turn the house lights off.
So awesome.
Oh.
Have it connected with a Nest thermostat too.
Magic.
It's so cool.
It's magic. But they're also doing things like grocery delivery and other things that are outside of the home.
Yeah, talk about that for a minute.
So one of the things that I saw in conjunction with this article was that in certain cities, Amazon's testing grocery delivery service. So you can order through Amazon and, maybe subscription style or just one-off. But they're also looking at integrating that with the Echo. So let's say, normally you and your wife buy certain things on a regular basis from the grocery store. You can say, reorder my regular order and I need it here by Thursday.
Wow.
Or I need some new wild rice or a new gallon of milk. I don't know if they can do milk. I don't know.
I can have strawberry Pop-Tarts at my door.
Oh, yeah.
Just by speaking some words.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Actually, I think you might be able to do that now just because Amazon can deliver Pop-Tarts.
That's true, yeah.
But I think there's that whole bringing Alexa and the Echo, and there's some other companies that are doing it too, but bringing that closer to you. Yeah. One of the things I'd love to see them add is I should be able to do that through my phone.
Yeah, I agree.
I should not need the Echo.
Yeah.
Because if I'm in the airport and I'm on the phone with my wife and she says, oh, I've got to remember to do this, or oh, we need to do this. If that's something Alexa can take care of for me,
right,
I'm going to do it right then. Even if there's a nominal charge. Like, if it's $1.50 extra for me to take care of something for my wife immediately,
yeah,
it's going to happen. Because otherwise I'll forget. And later I'll think, I could have just spent that $1.50 and we wouldn't be having this conversation.
That's true.
Right?
That's true.
So there's a lot of very cool things coming. Music is an indicator of a lot of things I think that are coming. So,
I agree.
Last but not least, Wall Street Journal is talking about how we have this tech boom, right? Mm-hmm. So we have data and apps and just massive explosion in the tech space over the last number of years. Yeah. But all their research is saying that most of those jobs in the U.S. specifically are only going to people in certain types of roles.
Oh, really?
So it's not taking all the tech jobs and lifting everybody up. It's taking a very specific spectrum, and economists call that phenomenon, they've coined it skill-biased technical change, where the spoils of that growth go to the few people who have the skills and the position or the luck to take advantage of it.
Okay.
And so what you're seeing is a lot of jobs are being commoditized and sent overseas.
Yeah.
One of the great examples they had was Steve Jobs. When he took back over Apple, he very publicly said, we're going to revolutionize American manufacturing, we're going to build everything in the U.S., and they did, and they started. And by the time his health started to decline and he was going to retire and step away, 98% of everything Apple builds is built overseas.
Right.
And, there's a variety of reasons for that. I don't want to get into politics or any of that kind of mess, right? But at the end
tax evasion.
But at the end of the day, the tech boom in the U.S. is still creating a lot of jobs, but it's only for certain types of roles, and most of those roles are for people who can build solutions in the cloud. Whether they're analytics, whether they're applications, whether they're intelligent type applications where we're integrating traditional e-com and web presence with inline intelligent analytics, with data visualization and creating those experiences for the customer, whether we're creating new mobile development applications, viral experiences, those kinds of things, right? Other jobs that are more hosting, maintenance, those types of things, those are not growing, not in the U.S. at
Interesting.
least. Those are some of the ones that are moving. So, it's part of the reason that we picked our topic today, because so many people are seeing this too.
Yeah.
And they're really wanting to know how they can get started in Azure. So they're sitting here thinking, boy, I don't want to be in that group.
Right.
I don't want my company or my team to be part of that group that's going to have to, be caught sort of behind the 8 ball with all this change. We've been hearing about the cloud now for years.
Right.
We know we need to move forward. And some of them may even have a strategy for it. Some people have a cloud strategy. They're so busy, right? They haven't been able to sort of move it forward. Maybe it needs to be updated. It's a year old. In a cloud world, a year old is very old.
Yes, it is.
So many things change.
Yep.
We talked
about releasing a book about on cloud, right? You tried to do that, right?
Yes. Yeah, we had some conversations about that a couple of years ago. We told them, we said, you just can't do it. Right?
Yeah.
It can't be done. Pragmatic Works has amazing blog posts and updates, not only to our things like our custom visuals course that you're running and you've put out for Power BI, but also just our things like our Power BI training. It is a lot of effort for us to stay up to date and keep that training as the most up-to-date training in the industry, but we're pretty proud of the fact that we do.
Absolutely.
So today we're going to talk about how we get started with Azure.
Okay.
And so, let's dive in.
So my first question for you then is, where are most companies using Azure the most? What are some of the areas that people oftentimes get first started? Specifically, what are they doing the most with Azure?
Yeah, it's a good question. So they're using Azure for the cloud.
Okay. Yes.
Next question.
Okay, all right. Next. Podcast over.
Right. So really there's a few areas. So you'll hear a lot about things like DevTest, where companies, they don't necessarily need to build out a bunch of development test servers in their data center, right? And think about every company you've ever worked at or we've consulted at. The DevTest hardware Right.
It's production from 15 years ago.
Production from 15 years ago. And that's not good, right? Yeah. You don't want to give the team that's in charge of building the next thing the worst possible tools, right? We had a contractor come over to do some work on the house not too long ago, and he came with relatively new-looking tools. If he had come with, a bent screwdriver and a hammer that was missing part of the handle, and, that I wouldn't have had a lot of confidence in him, right? So DevTest is a great place for customers to get up and moving. Power BI, SaaS offering. We have another podcast that where we talk about things like, pizza as a service.
Right.
What SaaS offerings really mean. But Power BI is changing the way a lot of people work with data in their organization. Analytics. Analytics is a big, broad topic, but I think that in the cloud we have specific service offerings that let you tackle the part that makes the most sense for you. Platform modernization, moving your entire app, data, and messaging collaboration platforms to a new level of performance, scalability, and features that you can take advantage of. It's a big deal. Even simply, some of the best first steps is, how many companies do you know that have no DR planning or have failed DR tests for years?
Sadly, more than I would like to admit. That or they would like to admit, I guess.
That they would like to admit.
Yeah.
So most companies that are starting to get into the cloud, especially if they're talking about platform modernization, DR and business continuity is a big deal for them. And being able to run half of the infrastructure in the cloud and the other half maybe still on premise if they need to do that, and connecting them up in a hybrid fashion, that's a big deal because you can leave everything running all the time.
And maybe the reason why they didn't do that in the past is because they just didn't have the hardware or the resources locally to do it, but this gives them the opportunity to do something they've been meaning to do for years and be able to do it. And I think this is necessarily one of the things we need to talk about right now too, but a lot of people don't realize too that they might have already had, their company might already have had some step into the cloud and they don't even realize it. Like Office 365.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
If you're using Exchange Online, there's a reason it has the word online.
Can you access your email via a web browser?
Yes.
I mean, there's a whole host of customers that we see, and they'll say, well, we're not ready for the cloud, or we're not in the cloud yet, or we have a security requirement that keeps us from going to the cloud. And by the way, if you think you have a security requirement that keeps you from going to the cloud, there's a 99.9% chance you're probably wrong. Mostly just because there's been so many improvements in the last 24 months that's an old myth. That's sort of a widely debunked myth that very secure workloads can't go to the cloud.
Yeah, if you go visit the Microsoft Trust Center, so if you do a quick search for that, you'll be able to see exactly what kind of regulations that Azure has been able to meet now, and it's pretty just knocking them off the list, the type of regulations that people usually think of.
And while we do a lot of work across a variety of different public clouds, Microsoft is definitely leading the way when it comes to security and that type of thing. So there's a lot of reasons. A lot of places where companies are starting to use Azure the most.
So you talked about a bunch of different places where people initially get in, or that are most often being used from Azure's perspective. Why are they going into those areas? So you mentioned Power BI and DevTest. Why are people getting into some of those areas?
So there's a lot of technical reasons. Right, I have a list of about 53 that we can go through.
Oh, good. I'm going to go get some popcorn.
So let the listeners get a drink. No, basically there are a lot of good technical reasons, but what it boils down to is a couple of things: speed, cost management, efficiency of actually being able to manage the platform, and profits.
That last one's pretty important.
Yep.
Well, they're all pretty important, but that last one's pretty important.
But let's take them one by one, Dev. So DevTest, right? We want to be able to build the best products and maintain the things that we have as a company in the best possible way. Right? That means our team needs good hardware, up-to-date tools, they need reliable access, and we need to be able to provide them that without it costing an arm and a leg. Right? They need to be able to shut those things down at the end of the day when they're not using them. And make the most of that kind of environment. So from a DevTest perspective, we also have things like Visual Studio Online and the sort of DevOps and ALM integration that we get across those different services, which takes the process that they use to sort of envision, design, develop, test, and deploy, and really helps them create a life cycle around that, as opposed to uploading code and moving things around, and it's sort of the more antiquated way things happen. So speed and agility, performance, cost reduction for DevTest. Power BI, changing the game in terms of the way that companies can democratize their business data, help people use it. It is just a hugely popular conversation for us, not only for training, but for services and for people integrating our software tools. And it just is continuing to come up. And Microsoft is just investing in it and producing such an incredible amount of value there. I think a year ago we would have said, it's a race. Every customer, we're talking about Tableau versus Power BI. We're not really having that conversation anymore. I mean, we certainly work with both here at Pragmatic Works. We see great results from both, but Power BI as a product and as a platform from an innovation perspective is putting data in the hands of so many more people in the company. And we know that when the company really looks at their data as an asset and they use that data to give it to more people, to help more people in the company be smarter about what they're doing, they're going to make more money.
Absolutely.
They're going to make better decisions. They're going to make more profits. They're going to reduce cost. All those 4 important things that I listed, they're going to hit all of those. Analytics. Let's find ways where we can save money and predict places where we're going to be able to make more money.
I love this one too, because it takes IT from being that traditional cost center to actually finding where that money can be made or saved or whatever it may be. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. And when you sit down and say, would you invest money, Mr. Company President or CEO, in a solution that will allow you in a matter of weeks, really in a matter of weeks, and in some cases a matter of days, to go and look at where you think you're going to be able to make the most money based on what you're going to invest in, and really scientifically pick those bets and back up your gut instinct. That's a pretty powerful statement to be able to make, and a lot of people are jumping in and investing in that. Second to last, we have platform modernization. So we talked about moving those VMs or moving your databases to the cloud, getting scalability. We have a lot of people who have performance challenges or old hardware, or maybe there's not even anything wrong, but they know in the next 24 months they're not going to want to buy all new hardware.
Right.
They're not going to want to upgrade and patch and maintain all these servers. And you start looking at the value of for let's say a DBA team or a BI team. I read an industry estimate from Gartner that something like 39 to 42% of the time for most data teams is spent doing operational maintenance work.
Wow.
So if you think about, let's just do some rough math really quick, okay? Let's say it's a smaller to medium-sized company. Their data team is 10 people, and they each make, let's say, $100,000 a year, right? So that's $1 million a year of people that are working on the data. That's a big investment from a company, right? And then let's tack on some benefits to that, because we've got those, so maybe another 20%. So let's say $1.2 million in costs. Now let's take 40% of that number.
Golly, that's just crazy.
And say that by moving from the current place we hold our data to this other place over here, we can save $600,000, $500,000 a year. And we're not cutting staff, we're not changing roles, we're not trying to cram more work into people's worlds and take them from 55, 60 hours a week to 80 hours a week. We're doing what's right for the company and what's right for our team. And I think that's incredibly powerful, because we know most of the time it's not going to cost $500,000 to move your databases up to Azure, right? And so your ROI on that, super fast, less than a year, your team's going to get a lot of great new experience. Now you're in a platform, your data's in the cloud where it's going to do some real good. And now you can start to take advantage of things like Power BI and analytics and all the other things that we talked about, right?
You got me excited.
I'm telling you,
I'm excited.
Good stuff.
So I'm so excited that I need to know what I need to do next.
Okay.
So how do I move forward with this? You've got me intrigued.
Okay.
What's my first steps into this here? How do I move forward?
So the first thing is, we talked about the amount of savings you could get for something like this. Sure. Realize it's not very expensive to get started. One, it's very easy to spin up an Azure account. So one, look and see if your company already has an Azure account. Like you said, Office 365, lots of companies already have an account. Maybe it's AWS, maybe it's Azure. Either way, you have a public cloud account. So talk to your leadership, find out which of these types of topics do they see struggling with, right? Because we may be on a team that sees one area, and we may be thinking, boy, we could save $500,000 if we moved our databases up into Azure, we could scale them, and they would handle all this. But what we may not know is maybe the dev team would save $1 million, right? So your boss is going, we're not moving the databases yet. we're going to move this first. And so they know the priorities, right? So talk to them, help them understand the priorities. Work with your team to put together that plan. The ROI is pretty easy to estimate. We just did it in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So it's not that complicated to do some back-of-the-napkin math to be able to have a real good conversation and talk about how you're going to help your business. And so once you figure out a workload, then you can start to say, okay, do I know a little bit about Power BI? Do I know how to create a VM in Azure? And you know, of course, Pragmatic Works has training on all of these topics. That there's lots of great labs on Microsoft's website, lots of great places to get started. The other thing that we have that no other partner has is something we call an Azure Fast Start. It's a specific program we built with Microsoft where we will come in for a week on site for each one of these different types of workloads and more. These are just the ones we highlighted today. Pretty much anything in Azure will qualify for a Fast Start. It's free for them, Devin.
Free?
It's zero cost. They get a week. We're going to send one of our Agile architects to the customer for a week. $0.
Wow.
Not $0 plus a fee, not $0 plus travel, just $0.
Really? Not even travel?
Not even travel.
Wow.
It's all inclusive. It's really a fantastic opportunity. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually sit down and do some planning, try to understand what they're doing, get them hands-on with the technology, do some training, and then leave the week with a roadmap that we've reviewed with them to get them moving forward. I mean, it's really an incredibly powerful week. Our top architects work with Microsoft's team to build this specifically for our customers. It's a program specifically that Pragmatic Works does. And so if you're ready to begin to take advantage of some of these things, if some of that back-of-the-napkin math we did sounds like, you know, it might be a little bit like your company. We can help you figure out what that really looks like and help you move forward, and it won't cost you a thing.
Well, let me ask you this. Let's say, all right, you bring me, I bring you in for a week. We get this done, but I still got these other things that I'm also interested in doing. What about then? Am I just how do I got another week?
So the fast starts are so popular, we were able to figure out with Microsoft a way to stack them. So let's say that you have a team that wants to work on DevTest, and a team that wants to do analytics, and a team that needs to do Power BI. Maybe it's the same team. That's okay too. We can do all of those, and we can make them all free.
What?
Yes. It's unheard of. It's unbelievable.
Are you Oprah?
I am. You get a Fast Start.
Adam Winfrey.
You get Azure. I'm telling you, we have been able to do some pretty incredible things for customers through this program. And the fact that it's not only training, but also hands-on experience with it and a real plan at the end of the week, that's really the value, right? We're really big. It's Pragmatic Works. We're really big on a pragmatic approach to helping customers get traction, move forward. And, you know, I'm excited about the program. We have so much customer interest from the program for obvious reasons. And so check out our website to find out more.
Yeah, so we'd love to also hear from you. So what ways have you already started to work your way into Azure? Have you already taken a step in? Was it successful? Was it not? For whatever reason, let us know. We'd love to hear from you and love to talk to you about any of these fast starts that we brought up today as well. So we hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. We look forward to talking to you next time.
Great. Thanks a lot.